Hey guys, Derek here with Papavilletrains, and boy, it's been a long day. I was at the Wheaton Illinois Great Midwest Train Show today. I had my booth set up and sold a lot of stuff, and I ended up buying a bunch of stuff too. So we'll take a quick look at it, and I'll tell you about the show. Come on along. All right, so as I said in the introduction, I did the Wheaton Train Show, the Great Midwest, the Great Midwest Train Show is what they call it, not to be mixed up with the Great Train Show, although it's run by the same company. But yeah, so I did that show today. Had a really good turnout. I was kind of surprised. I think at least all the tables that I saw were had vendors on them. There weren't any empty tables. I'm not sure about in buildings number 2 and 3 because I was in building 1. I didn't get a chance to make it over there. I even went early in hopes to walk around, and I got my booth all set up, and next thing you know, I'm talking to people, and the doors are opening, and I was stuck behind my booth the entire time. So, but yeah, it was a good show. Lots of cool stuff. Met some wonderful people as always. Some of my regular guys that come by and say hi. One person in particular, Benjamin, you know who you are. Benjamin was extremely excited to see me. Saw me from way off and came over and said, YouTube. And so we took a picture together. I'll show it to you guys up here or maybe over there. But yeah, wonderful guy. Had a lot of fun talking with him. Extremely enthusiastic young man. It was enjoyable to meet him. Okay, so moving on. I sold a lot of stuff, and like I say, I also picked a bunch of stuff up, and missed out on a couple of things too. One of the things that happens at these train shows is I get a lot of people coming to me saying, "Hey, do you buy trains?" And then they're pulling out their phones and they're showing me what they got, or sometimes they're just asking just standard questions of, "Hey, here's what I have. Is there value to it, or anything like that? Is it worth keeping?" I had one gentleman, a good friend, who I'm considering a good friend because I see him all the time, Art, actually brought me a couple of cool shells, which I'll show you here in a little bit. He knows I like the Mark stuff, and he brought me a couple cool shells, so that was cool. So let's take a look at the items that I got. We'll start with the junk and work our way up. So, okay, so first off, because they happen to be both right here on the top of this pile, so these are, now I'll put together, these are the shells that I got from my buddy Art. This is one of the nice CPs. I like this one. It's got some good parts that I can use on it. I like that it has the metal front end, the unpainted front end. Got some rear trucks on it. Does have the guardrail, so that's cool. It's got the little bell and the 2 sand domes. So yeah, this is good. I'm going to be redoing one of these, and I know that a couple of the parts that are on it are a little on the beat side, so I'll probably be probably take this whole front end off and use it on that other one. And then, of course, he knows I love my counter Vanderbilts. This one is off of a wind-up. Easiest way to tell is there's only 2 sand domes, and then you got this is where your mechanism or your lever to engage it, and then finally on the other side, that's the hole where you would put the key in to crank it up. So next stuff I got here was from a gentleman who just had an old crappy set that he wanted to get rid of. If I remember correctly, he said that this was a set that he had when he was a kid, but had been just stored away for years and years. First off, it had the Blue Union Station. It is missing I believe it's a mailbox that goes here, and then there's a crossing gate that goes here. But other than that, I mean, I do have one of these that has everything to it. But this is cool. I like it. I'm sure somebody else will, because that'll get sold super cheap. Next up, we got a whole bunch of stuff here. So another Commodore Vanderbilt wind-up. One of the differences on this one is this one has the smokestack as opposed to the other one. It's a solid sand dome on there. But they both have the front, what do you call that? Fluor, something like that. They both have the same one here. It's the ring instead of just the visor. What else we got in here? So we got a bag. That's such a mess. I didn't even get it. Can I get it out of here without destroying everything? Probably not. Okay, so this is just a bag. I believe that's all that's in here. Yeah, so it's a bag of just simple 2-rail track. The 2-rail track that went with these wind-ups. And what do we got in here? I'm not going to bother, but it looks like there's definitely enough to do a full loop on those. We got a very old rusty Marks switch. It's a right-hand switch, and oh, look at that, and it does work. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is moving, so it does work. We'll just soak this baby for a real long time and clean it up and send it on to a new home. And then we got some rolling stock in here. Oh, so we got 2 New York Central tenders, and this one is actually off of a motorized set. I'm going to show you a little thing that you can tell about stuff. So let's get a little closer for you on this. So an easy way to tell, especially with this Mark stuff, if it came off of a wind-up set, is you see how this is awful rusty, but you see how that slides? Where this one, they're solid. So the reason it's like that is when you have your wind up, so it doesn't have all that motion. It'll one by one, each car will stretch out and get it going, so the engine can pick up a little steam. But where it's a solid one like that one, this is off of a motorized set. So what else we have here? Oh, we got a gondola, and these are kind of neat too because they have the stainless. I don't know if that's stainless, but the unpainted frames on them. Here's a caboose, and then we have a refrigerator car. And then we got a couple of, I don't know if these are, I doubt they're from the same set, but we have a Pullman, the Bogata, and we have the Montclair Pullman cars. And then we have, this is a really cool old bumper. And I think, I don't know if this was, no, it didn't have any electric to it. And it's rusty, and it is pretty neat looking. And then finally, for that wind up, we got the motor. Now it's missing a wheel, and it is rusty as could be, but I don't know if you saw that or not. It works. And the best part about it is, I actually told the guy I'd give him an extra $5 because he had the key. These keys are really hard to come across. Let's why am I having a hard time? There we go. I don't want to overwind this thing because it is so rusty. I don't need it breaking. But it's, aside from that wheel, it looks like it's complete, and I think that I have one of these wheels laying around. So nice setup there. That's all that. Let's get this stuff out of the way. So this next batch of stuff that I'm going to show you was, there was another one of the vendors, and this guy is there almost all the time. And I had never known this at first, but he was selling off his I don't know if it was his father or grandfather's or a combination of both. He had been going to the show over and over because he was selling all that stuff off, and he had a ton of it. Well, he was down on his final day, and within the last, within the last like hour to hour and a half show, he just he was just a couple of booths down for me, and he says, "Yep, it's fire sale time." I said, "What?" He says, "Yep." He says, "I don't want to take any of this stuff home. I'm done with the train show. I'm not planning on coming back. So I'm just going to get rid of this stuff." So we're going to show you some of the things that I picked up. So he had some box cars. He had a whole bunch of stuff that he was just going to ask $1 a piece. And there was this kid, I think he's 16 or 17. He was with his father, and they had a booth also. And he's just getting into trains and liking the buying and selling aspect. So he had a ton of stuff that the guy just said, "Hey, give me $1 a piece for him." And Dean bought them all, which was kind of cool. He had big boxes of track for $1. So Dean just scooped it all up. So these are the few of the pieces I got. So in this is a Mogan David. The box is a little on the rough side, but it's a Mogan David vat car, wine vat car. And like I say, the box is pretty rough, but the car inside of it looks like it's in nice shape. Let's take a look-see. Oh yeah, this thing's in really nice shape. A little dusty, but you know, it's nice. I like it a lot. This is a Mogan David wine car, 6-9146. But like I say, the box has seen better days. Get it back in there. The worst part about it is, maybe if I do it from the other end, the worst part about it is that the cellophane window is on one end of this, coming disconnected from the inside of the box. Let's see if I can get that in there without having any issues. Come on, get in there. Don't mess up. All right, got it in. All right, good deal. Okay. So, what do we have here? This is a New York Central 6462. Got some nice heavy trucks on it. And these are these auto couplers. The steps are bent a little bit. We can fix that very easily. Bent all the way around. There you go, just like new. So yeah, so it's a nice NYC 6462 gondola. We got an NYC, this is 6464 900 New York Central box car. It's got this sliding doors on it. We have the same couplers that were on the last one, and these couplers all look like they're in good condition. We have a C&O boxcar. This is a 9706. It's got both the doors on it. We have the coupler on this end is kind of messed up. It's missing the release thing on it, so the coupler won't stay closed. We have a Pacific Western. This is a 9452. And another one. We got sliding doors that work. And this one I think is probably from like the 80s. And then this one is a Washburn Crosby gold medal flower. This is a, what's the number on this one? This is from the early 70s, 9860. Couplers on this one look good. Wheels aren't too bad. And it's interesting. It's got tracks. Oh wow, there we go. So the door on this, it wants to open. Oh, there we go. You got to kind of pull it out a little bit to get the door open. See if we can do it on this side. There we go. Yeah, you actually have to kind of pull the door out a little bit to open it up. Yeah, this one cleaned up will look really nice. And then finally, oh, got some Amtrak 6410. Where are the ones I have down there? Because I have some Amtrak cars down there also. This one is a lighted car, and it's got pickups on it. Don't know if the lighting works on it. We'll have to test that. We have, this one's in a box that is deep to crap. Also lighted. Comes with some feathers. This is also a lighted car. This is the 6411. This is the 6410. And then we have a Vista Dome car. This is the 6412. Which is also a lighted car. So I'm going to take a very short little break. I'm going to go check and see if these guys work or not. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and the 6410, I happen to have a couple of lights laying around, threw them in here, got this one working. Looking at it a little closer, it does need a really good cleaning. The 6411 also, of the two good bulbs that I had, I put them in this one. This one's working, but it will need bulbs. And the on the dome car, one of the wires is disconnected, so I'll have to reconnect that. Or did I get it mixed up? No, I'm sorry. The dome car worked. This one, the ground wire is good, but the wire leading to the pickup roller is disconnected, so I'm going to have to reconnect that. And I'm sure by doing that, this one should work too. So happy with that purchase. And let me get this cleared out of the way, and we'll show you the last two items that I got that are real nice. Okay, so next up, I had a gentleman approach me, said, hey, you buy some trains? And this is what he had. So this, first just looking at the box, there's no identification labels of saying what it is. So we opened it up. And when I opened it up, I was like, ooh, this is nice. Now I'm going to ask for a little help from you guys. So this is a reading or reading, however you want to say it. It is a 462 with the tender. The only problem is, I call this one the crime scene gun. And I'll show you here in just a second. I don't know how well this shows up on camera, but the numbers have been worn off. Any idea why someone would do that? Who knows? But aside from that, it looks like it's in good condition. I got my fingers crossed, hoping that it's going to run. But yeah, the numbers have been worn off on this side, and it doesn't look like that, or they just did a much better job of taking the numbers off of that. I don't know why someone would do that, unless they were planning on rebadging it or something. And then this is the tender. So if one of you find, man, there's styrofoam all over on this thing. If one of you find folks out there, I'm trying to see if there's any writing on the bottom that might give me a hint. It just says Lionel Trains Incorporated. This is a whistling tender. But if any of you fine folks out there might know what set number this is, I would greatly appreciate it, because I'd like to know. And so I can look it up to find out whether or not I got a good price on this. I don't know, did they make an 8080? Maybe that's what the number was on it. It's hard to tell. I'll take a close-up picture if I can of this. If I'm able to get a good picture, I'll show it up here in the corner of the lettering on that. But you know, it's got heft to it. It's die cast, so I'm very curious as to what this one is, and we'll find out at the end of this video if it runs. So the next one I got, this one actually, same gentleman. He kind of lightly showed it to me. He just showed me the box. Wasn't sure what he was going to do with it, and then he came back about a half an hour later, and we started talking. I had a diesel that he liked a lot, and so we worked out a deal, or we did a trade with a little bit of cash extra. But so he traded me this. Just the box alone. MTH, electric trains, handle with care. One of the things I thought that was kind of interesting, it has a shipping label on it to His and Hers Hobby on Bussey Avenue in Mount Prospect, Illinois. I've never heard of that place before, and I'm in the Chicago area. So if one of you guys out there know of His and Her Hobby, I'm assuming that it is closed up now, but maybe you might know when they went out of business or something like that. I'd like to get an idea. Just, I'm curious. Okay, quick side note. So I did some, sorry about the lighting in here. So I did some quick research on His and Hers Hobbies, and here's what I found out. So His and Hers Hobbies opened in 1984 and closed in 2006. At that time, the building was torn down right after they closed. So here's some of the kind of cool history. Originally, the building was built in 1935. I'm kind of looking at my iPad reading some stuff here. And it was constructed with a classic Art Deco facade of black and white glazed tiles. I'll show you a picture right over my shoulder right here. And then in, let's see, the builder later had its facade modified. The builder had the facade modified twice. The reason for the first modification isn't known, although it was much less severe than the second modification. In the late 50s, the original Art Deco glazed tile facade was covered with irregular flat stones. But in 1984, and that's when His and Hers Hobbies opened, they made these changes. Heck of a lot different, huh? And apparently in 2006, they went out of business. I don't know who the owners' names were. I'm sure some of you guys might. And they closed up in 2006, and soon after that, the building was torn down. And according to what I'm looking at, there's currently nothing at that address, so I don't know if it's a vacant lot or it's a park or who knows. I don't get into that area very often. So, but it originally opened up as a grocery store of all places. What do we got here? The property that this building sits on was originally the garden behind the Men, M-E-Y-N, family's home and blacksmith shop. That's kind of cool. It's possible that a member of the family built this building as an extension or modernization of the William Men Associated Grocery Store, which stood next door. So that's kind of cool. It's neat to see the history of some of these buildings. It's kind of a sidebar. But yeah, so yeah, apparently in 2006, His and Her Hobbies closed for whatever reasons. I don't know. So what we have, if I can get it out of the box, come on, baby, out you go. My hands are just a tiny, there we go. So, this is is it on that side? Yeah, we'll do it like that. So this is a nickel plate road, Berkshire, 284 steam engine. Item number RK-1109. So it features precision flywheel equipped motor, all metal wheels and gears, compatible with most AC transformers. DCRU electronic reverse by, and I can't tell what that little emblem is there. I'm sure somebody's screaming because you know what it is. Saying, it's this. Equipped with electronic whistle, die-cast, intricately detailed body. Weighs approximately 8 pounds, measures approximately 22 inches by 2 inches by 3 inches. Die-cast leading and trailing trucks. Operating die-cast metal coupler. Operating proto-smoke system. Die-cast tender coal load. Detailed locomotive cab interior. Operates on 031 track. Has an operating headlight and accepts plug-in proto-sound systems. So let's take a look at it out of the box. Here again. These things are tough to get out of these boxes sometimes. There we go. And you know, there's one last thing at the end of this. I made something yesterday that I thought I'd show to you guys because it was very, very simple way to make it. So let's take a look-see. So we have our paperwork. We have our tender. And this guy definitely put it away nice. I mean, it's dusty. But it even has all the little cardboard inserts that go in between the trucks and the body, or the shell. And then we have wow. Man, I thought that Royal Hudson was heavy. Ooh, this thing is pretty. Wait until you see this pretty guy. So it has a engine number of 759. Look at that. Oh, I've got another one of the cardboard pieces here. So yeah, it's definitely been run. I mean, there's a little wear on the pickups. And oof. So there it is. Wow, that guy's heavy. So that was my I think my good deal of the day. Put this over here. All right, so once I wrap up, we're going to throw these on the track and see if they work. In the meantime, I'm going to show you just a real quick DIY that I did. So you see the guys, they have the nice little cradles to put their trains in when they're working on them. I made one. So I was just digging around in my tools and I found an old crappy miter box. And I don't know what happened to the saw. So we happen to have some cushion foam. So I simply cut the cushion foam to size, sprayed a little spray adhesive in there, and now I have myself a really nice cradle to work on my trains in, so I don't have to worry about damaging them. And one of the things I did do is I double layered on the bottom and then single layered on the sides. But I looked on online at some of the different hardware places. Even if you buy one of these, the old cheapo ones that come with a saw, you can pick them up for about $5 at your local hardware store, you know, your big box place, and you got yourself a saw, and then you can use that miter box as your cradle. I mean, of course, you could make one out of wood if you wanted to, or something like that. But I mean, I happen to have this laying around, and like I say, I don't know what happened. It's probably out in my shed or something like that. But I know I have a couple of these. Matter of fact, I got another one sitting right over there. That one I use on a regular basis. So, yeah. So just a nice quick little DIY way to make yourself a cradle. If you don't want to have to glue foam and stuff in there, you could just set it in there and maybe put a towel around it or something like that. Yeah, lots of different ways you can make these cradles, but that's a nice little permanent one. So, all right, guys, so that about wraps it up. Stick around after my sign off, and we'll see if these guys are run on the track or not. And real quick, you know, if you want to support the channel, I got t-shirts. You guys, this is the logo that's on them, and they're available in black and orange. This is the only yellow one that's available, and I'm not selling it. It's mine. And if you go into the show description, you can see the information on how if you'd like to order one of those. What else was there? Oh, train shows coming up, upcoming train shows. So next week, Springfield, Illinois. The date on it is, let's take a look at my calendar. Where is my calendar? Is that it? Yeah, so the date on that would be the day after Valentine's Day, the 15th. No, I take that back. I don't know why I'm not remembering this one. It's the day after my wife's birthday, so it's on the 9th. And yeah, it's on the 9th. It is in the Orr building at the Illinois State Fairgrounds in Springfield. And I believe it runs from 9 o'clock until 4 o'clock. Yeah, I do know that, I think, if I remember correctly, and I can't find the flyer for it, I was looking for it earlier, I believe they have a 1 hour early admittance, so you pay an extra $5 or whatever to get in an hour early. So I think for that, the doors open at 9, and then to anybody else, I think it's 10 o'clock. But I'm not 100% sure. Go look on the website. Just put in Springfield, Illinois Train Show, and it'll give you the information. So Central Illinois, come in, stop by, see me, say hi. And then what else do we have? We have in April, first weekend of April, April 5th, Saturday, I will be in Davenport, Iowa, at the train show in Davenport, Iowa. That is the 14th annual Davenport Model Railroad and Memorabilia Show that is at the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds on Locust Street in Davenport, Iowa. Like I said, April 5th. It runs from 9:30 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. Stop by and say hi. And then the following day, Sunday, the 6th, I'll be back in Wheaton. So, you know, if you can't make it to Springfield or Davenport because that's too much of a drive, and you're in the Chicago area, definitely come on out to Wheaton. All right, guys. I think that covers it all. So, yeah, stick around and watch these guys run. Hopefully, they will run. Choo-choo!